This is an ABC News special report.
Good morning. I'm Stephanie Ramos. We are coming on the air because Vice President Kamala Harris has just made her first public comments since President Biden withdrew from the race for president, making her the presumptive Democratic Party nominee. President Biden is still recovering from COVID at his home in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Vice President Harris on the South Lawn of the White House today for an event celebrating NCAA championship teams. Let's listen to the Vice President.
Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment over the past 3 years is unmatched in modern history. In one term, he has already, yes, you may clap. In one term, he has already surpassed the legacy of most presidents who have served 2 terms in office. And I first came to know President Biden through his son, Beau. We worked together as attorneys general in our states, and back then, Beau would often tell me stories about his dad. He would talk about the kind of father and the kind of man that Joe Biden is. The qualities that Beau revered in his father are the same qualities that I have seen every day in our president. His honesty, his integrity, his commitment to his faith and his family, his big heart, and his love, deep love of our country. And I am firsthand witness that every day our President Joe Biden fights for the American people, and we are deeply, deeply grateful for his service to our nation.
Vice President Kamala Harris there at the White House, her first remarks since being endorsed by President Biden yesterday. There is already tremendous speculation about her possible running mate. Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and House Republicans quick to go on the attack, calling on President Biden to resign from office. President Biden is expected to address the nation about his decision at some point this week. He has already signaled he plans to finish his term. Let's check in with Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce, who is there at the event. Mary?
Stephanie, certainly a bit of an unusual setting here for the vice president to come out, given the extraordinary circumstances of the last 24 hours. She is here in front of, as you can tell, a rather rowdy crowd of college athletes. You will note in that soundbite that we just heard there, the vice president today talking a lot about the president, her praise for him, her deep gratitude for him and for the work that they have done together. What you didn't hear Vice President Kamala Harris talking a lot about was her candidacy, though she has made very clear that she is all in on this race, that she intends to not just run, but to win and to beat Donald Trump. And of course, we have seen really a remarkable coalescing in just the last 24 hours. It's all happening very quickly. Party leaders, Democratic heavyweights coming out, giving their support to Vice President Kamala Harris, sending the message to the party to fall in line, that they want to put their weight behind her. Certainly, there is still time for others to jump into this race. But Stephanie, right now, Vice President Kamala Harris is certainly the Democratic frontrunner.
With just a little more than 100 days to go until Election Day. Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce there at the White House for us. Vice President Kamala Harris making her first appearance after being endorsed by President Biden yesterday, welcoming NCAA student athletes there at the White House in her role as vice president, but of course acknowledging President Biden and his time in office, saying she came to know President Biden by way of his late son, Beau Biden, talking about the president's time in office, acknowledging his efforts and his actions. And then Harris, of course, shifting to the NCAA athletes standing behind her. Let's go back to Mary Bruce there at the White House. Mary, we know we are just less than 24 hours since President Biden endorsed Kamala Harris, but what are the next steps?
Well, the next steps actually will come here very shortly. The vice president is going to be making her way to Wilmington, Delaware, simply to check in and say hello to what is now her campaign operation. In the last 24 hours, we have seen the Biden for President campaign now become the Harris for President campaign. All of that campaign infrastructure, all of that fundraising powerhouse now pivoting to back Kamala Harris. So today, she is simply getting to work in this race. She's going to be traveling to Wilmington, checking in with her campaign staff, and then we know she does plan to get back out on the road, back out on the trail in the coming days. But Stephanie, what a different set of circumstances than the last time that she was out there stumping for Joe Biden. Now she will be out there running herself to be atop the ticket.
It certainly is a completely different day, a completely different campaign. The vice president tweeting out just a short time ago that today is day one. Thank you very much, Mary. Our coverage continues on ABC News Live and, of course, abcnews.com. David Muir will be right back here with the entire team for World News Tonight. I'm Stephanie Ramos here in New York. Have a good day.
This has been a special report from ABC News.